when we were doing the other book, We Are South Highfields, we being what was then Highfields Association of Residents and Tenants, HART, and what is now South Highfields Neighbours. And it was the success of that book that encouraged us to apply to the Heritage Lottery for a grant to look at what life was like in our area during World War I. And we were successful, and now, nearly 2 years later, after a great deal of hard work from a lot of people, we have the book and the exhibition, which I hope you'll enjoy. Right from the start, our aim was to create something that was well researched, but that was easily readable and very interesting to everybody in our community. And so that's what our aim was, and I think we've achieved it. We didn't find room for everything, that all the information we had, and in the folders over there, which go with the exhibition, there is more information. So if you haven't had a chance to look, do have a look later on at what we've got there. And the exhibition itself is going to be on tour for the next 3 years. So if you have a space that you think it would be good in, then do put your name down. There's a form there, and you can borrow it and have it for a while in whatever community space you have. There's also some little cards. They have got information about where to get the book, but also about SoundCloud. Now, I don't know, I didn't know about SoundCloud, but it sounds like it's like YouTube, only it's sound up there. And when we did the research for the book, obviously there was lots of time spent at the records office, going through the ancestry websites, going through military records, local history books. But also, we listened to people who've been alive at the time, through the East Midlands Oral History Archive, through their records. And some of those records are now on SoundCloud, so where you can listen to that is on there. They're in the book, and there's some quotes on there as well. And also we thought, as well as finding out about life in South Highfields 100 years ago, it would be nice to find out about life in other countries around the world. And so we interviewed 13 people from different countries to find out what life was like there. For some of them, they had information, others had less, because what's passed down is always fragmentary. But what we did hear from everybody was very interesting stories of their journeys here, which is very, very valuable. And the whole of those interviews are on SoundCloud. So there's extracts in the book you can read, but the whole of them are on SoundCloud. So do pick up one of those little cards. So we have now in South Highfields a lot of evidence of World War I. We've had people who, like Ilya, came following World War II, which followed on from World War I. People's journeys, we have the people that are here. We have the changed street names, the Coburg, Saxby Street, and the other names that were changed. We have the old buildings. They were there during the First World War. They're still here today. And we have organisations like A.C. James and Son, the Undertakers, who are burying people in the First World War and are still burying people now. They're based on Biddulph Street. And death, in fact, was a very present visitor at that time. Not only were people being killed in the war, obviously, but there was very high infant mortality, and also, just after the war, there was the flu epidemic. And we have got in the folders a whole list of the people from these streets who are buried in Walford Road Cemetery, which is where they were buried. And Chris Powis has offered to do a tour of Walford Road Cemetery. So if anybody would like to join that tour, please put your name down. We haven't set a date yet, but we will do. So the programme this afternoon, as you can see, you've all been given a programme. There are going to be some short talks from people, from volunteers, and also from people who we interviewed. But before we move on to that, I would just like to thank people right at the beginning. So thank you very much to all of the volunteer researchers and writers who've put in so much hard work. For all of those who so generously shared their stories with us, many of whom are here today. I'm so pleased you're here. Thank you to Sophie for the brilliant design of the book and the exhibition, to Colin from the East Midlands Oral History Archive and all his work for us. For the photographers, Ambrose and Andrew, and Deepak, who isn't here tonight, unfortunately, and also from experts that helped us with it. John Martin is here, who helped us with the agriculture expert of that time. Cynthia, who is not coming perhaps, oh that's a shame. Cynthia Brown, who's an expert on all things local at that time. And Panikos Panay, who is going to be talking in a moment, who is the UK's leading expert on the anti-German feelings and internment at that time. So in this area we have got a huge amount of knowledge, we've got a lot of inquiring minds, and we've got a huge amount too of goodwill. So I just want to say thank you to everybody, because without all of you it wouldn't have happened. Thank you.